Hello and welcome to this first episode of Indie Goldbar. This is WarriorDan, your host, and today we are looking at Epidemic. In Indie Goldbar, we look at very promising up-and-coming indie titles released through GameJolt.com or other popular indie distribution sites. Now, focusing on Epidemic. Epidemic is an interesting top-down, well, how would you put it? I would call it a strategy game where basically you try to spread a disease. In this case, I call it love because I thought that was hilarious. So we are spreading love through the city, and the goal is to kill as many people through your infection, your sickness, as you can. Now to some this may sound very familiar. Well, it should, because there was a very similar game that was released publicly called Plague Inc. That was a game that came out on Steam probably about 2-3 years ago, and it was a really good game. This game takes a lot of nods from that, but what I like about it is the unique art style, which is very cartoony, and I really like it. It almost reminds me of The Sims, except it's a little bit more cel-shaded animation than The Sims had. I like it. It's simple, it's a simplistic viewpoint with a simplistic menu. This is a game that could very easily be ported over to iPad or other mobile platforms, in addition to PC. You'll notice on the right there are two bars. There's Analytics, which shows the number of healthy, infected, and dead villagers. Your goal, as whatever it is you are, looking down from this viewpoint, is to kill everybody. You start off with a limited amount of infected people, and you hope to spread the disease so hopefully everyone will eventually die. Now, this could take a very long time or it could go by very quickly, depending on how you place everyone. For the most part, they'll kind of just bumble along as they go, but you can influence their movements a little bit, which I find interesting. Mainly, the most important choice you have to pick is who do you want to create disease, who do you want to be the host at first. What I did when I played the game is I picked one person that was in the middle of a big crowd, and then I let them kind of wander about and infect as many people as they can, and what do you know, within a minute I had like a quarter of the town infected. Took like a minute or two. My whole play session with this game probably lasted around 15 minutes, and I was able to kill almost everybody except one person who miraculously survived this whole devastation caused to their town, which every other person in their town died. And I will admit, it was a very frustrating experience towards the end, but I loved every minute of it. This is a game I would love to see come to Steam Greenlight. I think that it drew the line fair enough between inspiration and, well, straight ripping off Plague, because there's a difference to be had between being inspired by a fellow game that is bigger and more notable, and just plain ripping it off, and I think they were able to do it pretty well here in Epidemic. When I look at this and when I look at something like Plague, which has a bigger scale and just has very different mechanics, this feels smaller, more comprehensive, and just easier to play if you're playing on a mobile or something. You can pick it up, play it as you go, play for 5 minutes, and that's it. Plague, it's almost like you're committing to an hour or two worth of play. So overall, is this a game worth downloading? Absolutely, it is free to download. You can find it straight at GameJolt.com. I will provide a link in the description. I highly recommend you give it a go. And that's it. I'm not going to give this game a grade because it is not a finished game. It is very much in an early alpha. I know the author is still very hard at work on it. So I do hope to see more from this game, and I wish the creator all the best. For now, this is WarriorDan signing out. Peace out, and I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye!